Today we're taking a look into the world of houseboats. At 500 square feet, this is sort of like a tiny house, but this tiny house is a little different because it's actually a houseboat. Houseboats have been around in Seattle since the 1920s. They started out as a really cheap place for boat makers and fishermen to live, and now they come in all sizes, from what you would basically call a tiny house to those modern glass box houses floating on the water. Most people know them from the movie Sleepless in Seattle. I've been so curious to see what it's like inside these houseboats. So today we are going to take a look inside one of them that is for sale. So first of all, what the heck is a houseboat anyway? Because I find there is a lot of confusion with this. There are two types of houseboats. One are the actual boats that move around on lakes. These are boats with bedrooms. They have an engine, they can actually move around. And then there are floating houses, called houseboats in Seattle, but these are not actually boats. They don't have an engine and you can't really move them, but rather they're houses built on floating docks. And they're really cool because you get that feeling that you're on the water, but also the comfort of a regular house. However, there are some quirks that you should know about if you're ever thinking of living in one of these. I already know a lot of people watching this look at this houseboat and go, that is the perfect Airbnb. But Seattle did ban houseboats as Airbnbs. So this is good to know if you're thinking of buying one just to rent it out. You cannot do that, at least not in Seattle. You'll notice if you go on Airbnb, you cannot find a houseboat to rent. This houseboat actually used to be an Airbnb. It was even on a TV show where they revamped it and made the listing better. But in 2019, the city voted to ban these from being Airbnbs. They're very unique and a very cool living style. So I'm going to show you the pros and cons, the cost, and what this houseboat is like. This houseboat is called the Lakeside Love Nest. Although it's small, it's very well designed, so come take a look inside with me. So right when you enter, you've got the only bathroom to the right, and to the left, a kind of mud room, just a spot to hang your stuff, a 2-in-1 washer and dryer, and a ladder up to the loft. It's a fairly simple bathroom. It seems like they did a basic renovation. You've got a quartz countertop, but this might be the original mirror. It's actually kind of cute, kind of vintage. The fact that there's a window in here, just chef's kiss. There's a walk-in shower, and I did notice something unusual about this bathroom. It's actually not fully enclosed, and this is a panel of wood, but there's no drywall or anything like that. I don't think this is typical of all houseboats, but this houseboat has exposed beams, which look really cool. Definitely adds character, but takes away sound insulation. The kitchen definitely has undergone a beautiful renovation. I love how it turned out. It's the perfect size for the space, and the style feels modern, yet still nautical, and still got some charm to it. It's a simple galley kitchen. You have a small stovetop with 3 burners, a small toaster oven, which can operate as an oven, and a refrigerator and freezer down here. So while it doesn't have everything you find in a modern apartment kitchen, it still does have everything you need to get by. And across the way is the coziest little breakfast nook. I think the breakfast nook is a really great use of the space across from the kitchen. It's actually pretty big. You could have 4 people over here, even put another chair. It reminds me of what you get on a boat or an Airstream, how they have those kitchenette situations. But I would say it might be a little bit bigger, so you could have people over and it would be totally fine. You see these a lot on boats, so I do think it's really cute that they put it on the houseboat. Heading into the living room, this room is so bright and open with views of the water from every angle. I love that you see the wood beams, and they have a gas stove in here so that you can heat the place up in the winter. There's some shiplap on the wall, which really fits with the nautical theme they've done with the staging. And while this is a smaller house, it is bigger than a tiny house. It can fit a normal sized couch, coffee table, and all of that. I do notice a very, very, very slight little sway because it is on water after all. However, this is a lake, it's not an ocean. I don't think anyone could possibly get motion sickness from this. This was something I was curious about before going on the houseboat, and you really don't notice it at all. This is a pretty still lake, but you can see when I speed up my footage that it is slowly moving from side to side. But there is just the slightest little teeter-totter. But oh, I see one across the way that's moving quite a bit side to side. It's a pretty calm day and there's not a lot of boats on the water. I would imagine when there are seaplanes flying in and a lot of boats a busy day, you might feel some more movement. Heading up the ladder is the one and only bedroom in this home. Welcome to the bedroom. So as you can see, it's a lofted bedroom. I love how bright it is up here. It is brighter than I feel like it is outside because you have all this white bouncing back. The nice thing about this bedroom is that it is above the level of the house next door. So you've got a clearer view outside, better lighting, and a little more privacy. It fit a decent sized bed. I'm pretty sure it was a queen bed. And because it was tucked against the wall with these windows, it felt really cozy. And right outside this room is the rooftop deck. Okay. So this houseboat actually has a pretty massive balcony. It's way bigger than the photos. I was shocked. The balcony is about the size of the living room. You can see it's stacked right on top of it, so you've got a really large outdoor space, and this is just the place to be in the summer. You've got some city views and of course water views and the other boats around. There's also a small lower part of the dock that you can step out on. A lot of people put small boats here and even kayaks and paddle boards. I've kayaked along houseboats before. This is a different neighborhood and it's actually really cool to just go past them and look at all the different ones. So it's pretty cool that this is just right outside your door. Like if this is where you get to have your morning coffee, you want it life. One thing I'd note about the balconies on houseboats in general is they tend to not be the most private since houseboats are usually pretty close together, but you could always put up some hedges in a pot or something like that if you wanted more privacy. This houseboat is definitely geared towards 1 or 2 people living in it. This one is smaller and simple, but still quite nice. But not all houseboats are like that. Some of them are extremely lavish, extremely modern. I'm talking mansions basically built on a floating dock. There really is a wide variety of types of houseboats, and all houseboats have some pros and cons when compared to a regular house. The main pro is that you are on the water. Even with a lake house or a beach house, you don't quite get this kind of water access where you can just step outside your door and go kayaking. So that is pretty special. Another pro is that houseboat neighborhoods tend to be pretty friendly communities. You know your neighbors, and you know that none of the houses are Airbnbs. The location is also really good. Lake Union is very close to downtown Seattle, and a condo would cost you a very similar price in this area. But there are some cons as well. One of them being with this houseboat, there is not a main gas line, so you do have to use propane tanks. It's also common for houseboats to not be hooked up to city sewer, so a lot of them will have a gray water tank just like a boat. I know a lot of people also might not love that these aren't super private. You are pretty close to your neighbors. And the biggest one, in my opinion, is that certain houseboats don't own their dock space. So with this houseboat, for example, you do have to lease the dock space even though you would own the house. So would I ever buy one of these? Would I live in one? Personally, I would love to live in one of these for a summer. I would love having coffee on that balcony up there and paddleboarding or kayaking every single day. But I'm pretty sure all the houseboat owners want to occupy in the summer. This one actually is for sale. That's how I was able to film in it. I want to thank the listing agent, Danny Varona, for letting me film in here. I'll have the listing down below in case you're interested in purchasing this. That would be pretty cool. That is going to be it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!